He was sitting in his bedroom listening to his mom and dad argue. It was common for him, but even still it was always hard to ignore it. His parents always tried to discourage violence when it was tied with him, but at night they would fight instead of slamming the door. This night was worse though, we heard him cursing. His wardrobe was shaking like no other. Someone had just had their first blow. He tried to go to sleep, pulling the covers up over his head. Slowly he said, to reassure himself that no one was dead. Yeah, a little older, this kid was in high school now. He had glasses, was a little stubbier, but quite profound in knowledge. He was smart, but people hated him just cause he was shy and couldn't find the means to play with them. They made him into someone who he wasn't. He was bullied by the stuck-ups. He was shoved inside his locker. He was pushed into the mud when it was raining. Then he would go home to the same things and basically nothing would change cause his dad would often come home with too much to drink and would beat him when they were alone. And his mom was barely even there, so when she came home from work she would go straight to sleep and not know. Several years passed. The kid was now a man. He was a lot taller, had a wife and had land, had a job, had a daughter. Everything seemed grand, but his past left a scar that he couldn't seem to mend. And one day he received a call from a friend that he met a few years back of a tragic event, that his mom was in an accident on the way to visit him, only to check if he was okay, cause it's been years since he saw his parents last. And now in tears he dropped the phone. A maniac wasn't looking both ways. For them there was no grace. He could picture her face, and it took him back ages ago when his life was a mess. They would fight to the death and he would hide under stress. As he questioned his own life, his father walked out and he realized it was impossible to make him proud of him. Now with his mom dead, darkness surrounded him. Thoughts that he let his mom down started drowning him. And then he thought about the things that he said when he moved out. He was mad and wished her to be dead, and it led to a lot of things that he wished he never got into. All the bad things that he's been through. Problems. But the man started to treat his family better than he got treated. He didn't want to keep believing in all of the demons that haunted him every single night, because he lost strength of fighting hard to keep himself from falling off the deep end. He became an addict shortly after his mom passed, but made himself stop to be there for his daughter. He wasn't gonna follow in the footsteps of his dad. He never mentioned him because he left his car he couldn't pass, but he could act like a better father to his daughter, good husband and a good son in honor of his mama. He always thought about the consequences of his actions, and even when he got threatened he would show compassion, not retaliate back like he did when he was younger, cause back then he was all the way under, dealing with a lot of stuff that he couldn't deal with. It healed a little over time, but he could still feel it. At least he was headed in the right direction, though not even the best person can reach perfection. Over the years he started to feel better about his life and became a better husband for his wife, and he didn't have to hide. He stayed there for his daughter who was 9. He saw the stars starting to align. He knew that they were fine. And 20 years later, before he died, he looked at his wife, and even as he cried, he knew she was alright with his daughter now grown up. His eyes started tearing up because they looked alike, and he knew that she was fine. He knew that she was fine.